that's really what we want to do here with this episode, is give a little bit of a sample of what the Zoning and Land Use Committee has been working on. We are a relatively new group, so we're just getting started, but we were able to submit testimony on 3 bills last week, and that was CB 50, CR 104, and CR 105. Do I have those correct, Hiruy?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we are going to briefly touch on each of them, try to break it down in layman's terms a little bit. Hiruy definitely knows more about some of them than I do, but I'm going to try to do my best to keep up. But the first one that we're going to talk about a little bit here is it was CB 50, County Bill 50, 2021. And it relates to, in case people aren't familiar, there is a project that Erickson Living, which is like a big retirement community developer, I think based in Catonsville. And they've donated quite a large sums of money to our county executive, to various different council members in Howard County, even I think $10,000 to the state Democratic Party. So they've definitely paid their dues when it comes to trying their best to get their projects approved. And they've been trying to build a retirement community in Western Howard County. What is it, like over 1,400 units, Hiruy?
Yeah, it's 1,200 units for individual residential units, and a little over 200 units for people who need more intensive care, for retirees or older adults who need more intensive care.
Yeah, and so yeah, over 1,400, different units proposed for that retirement community in Western Howard County, and they've actually been the developer's been trying to get this project approved for at least since 2018, if not sooner. And they had to, get it approved by, I guess, the county council and the various different, development related boards in the county. I think originally in 2018, when they came forward, I think the bill was CB 59. They basically had a 3-year deadline to get, in order to be able to build a community that large in rural Western Howard County. I guess they currently do not have the infrastructure, specifically like the water and sewage infrastructure, to be able to accommodate all those units. So for that project to even be possible, basically the county needs to spend millions of dollars to extend that infrastructure. I believe it's called a public service area expansion. So they had the developer in 2018, when they were trying to get that, they had 3 years to get that public service area expansion approved. And I think it was in like July 2018 is when the deadline started. So that is basically this month, right? July 2021. The 3-year deadline was coming. They were not able to get it approved in time, which would mean that they would not be able to move forward with the project. And so in an effort to avoid that, they tried to file for another 2-year extension, to have 2 more years to get this public service area expansion approved, which again would cost the county millions of dollars, but end up serving the profits of this private developer. Which you might be thinking, well, I mean, we do need more senior housing in Howard County. We have a increasing retirement age population. That is true, but that doesn't mean that this community in rural Western Howard County that does not exactly provide accommodations like transportation for elderly folks who might need it, that does not mean that this is the most ideal location to put a retirement community. So, we testified against, we sent testimony against CB 50 to extend the public service area expansion by 2 years. Hiruy, did you want to touch on a little bit of, why this project, and specifically the public service area expansion, was not a good idea to extend or really even consider in the first place?
Yeah, so the land that where the project is slated, where the petitioner wants to build the retirement facility was initially zoned for, I believe, 30 no 3 or 4 uh, 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 I think it's less than 10, for less than 10 units. It's like 65-acre land, and the plan was the existing zoning allowed for less than 10 units. So so now they want to go from 10 to over 1,400. So the mitigation needed to address the road the road capacity, the traffic congestion is not adequate. So right now the developer says that it will address the traffic congestion, but looking at the traffic studies, there are a lot of issues in terms of how the developer will get the land along Route 108 to expand. There might be they expect, even the county's technical staff report says they expect to encounter challenges in purchasing land from homeowners or property owners along Route 108 to expand the road. So if they're not successful, then that would mean here we have 1,400 units with hundreds of parking space that's planned in this property as well, and with the terrible traffic conditions. Who's going to pay to fix that is going to be the taxpayer, and it's going to be in the millions of dollars to fix that. The fiscal impact report showed that the county will end up paying more in expenses to deal with the cost of the facility over the timeline of the facility, over the life of the facility, than any revenues that it would gain. And the fiscal impact analysis provided by the developer, it was problematic. There are a lot of terrible assumptions that it made that were favorable for the developer but unfavorable for the taxpayer. And as you mentioned, it's all the way outside of the center of the county, where for example, if this retirement facility was in downtown Columbia, where it's more walkable, then the retirees would be better off. Of course, this is an expensive retirement facility. There's a lot of good things have been said about Erickson retirement facility, and I don't doubt that those things are true. But it costs a lot of money to live there, and retirees in Howard County, according to a survey that was conducted by the county, prefer to retire in their home, and so they would prefer that their existing home is retrofitted to allow them to be mobile and to have a better accessibility, and also they want better transportation. Those are the two priorities that they say they wanted. And so this goes against what retirees in Howard County, who most of them would not be able to afford this facility because they make significantly less than the median income, the county's median income. So a lot of issues So at the end of the day, the question is, who does this project benefit? Is it, does it add value to the residents? Does it add value to the county in terms of, making sure that it's at least not adding costs? The answer is no. The taxpayer will be subsidizing this to the tune of millions of dollars, because the infrastructure needed to accommodate this is going to be significant. And the only reason that it's moving forward, despite all its problems right now, is because you have we have the county executive who received campaign contributions. Many other politicians will receive campaign contributions, and then in the county council members Cristiano Rigby and Opal Jones, who seem to do what the county executive asks them to do on almost all zoning and land use decisions, and the council member David Youngman, the Republican council member, who seems to also do almost everything that the county executive asks him to do. So this, it's a terrible project. It's going to cost taxpayer dollars, we'll talk about this a little bit more with the Erickson project, with other people, with other guests in the future as well. But as it is, the zoning board is hearing the case to approve the petition, and it would be better for the taxpayer if it's not approved.
Yeah, and I believe there's also, even debate about, because for them to rezone this land to be able to extend the public service infrastructure out there and to be able to build the community that way, I believe it requires a map amendment, which is supposed to also be approved by the county council instead of just the zoning board. So the process is up in the air as well. But you really touch on a good point there of, and a big reason why we made this committee in the first place is because there is a very intentional effort by the development lobby and sort of their foot soldiers to paint any and every development deal as progressive. And if you're against this, then you're not progressive. But that's why it's so important to note that David Youngman, the Trump Republican, the only Republican on our county council, is basically the swing vote on all of these deals, and has accepted money from Erickson himself. So for people to act like this is some big progressive thing when this is the guy who's one of the loudest cheerleaders in his district, to me that kind of blows a hole in that idea. And it's really sad to see people try to paint obvious pay to play corruption deals as progressive. But yeah, it seems like another development boondoggle happening to Howard County taxpayers. We will keep people in the loop on that project, and as Hiruy said, I think we are going to do another episode down the line, a little bit more in depth about that project and the problems with it. So yeah, we submitted testimony, not just the Progressive Democrats of Howard County. We actually submitted a joint testimony with Indivisible Howard County, the economic equity team there.